Hey ghosts! Here's Chris from Ghost in the Sphere, a channel dedicated to Eastern philosophy and spiritual self-sufficiency. Today's topic is fantasy self versus daring self. Both are somewhat important for personal growth, but the actual daring self is what you need to grow, so that the growth takes place in your life, not only as an INFJ or introvert, but for everyone. Let's start by defining two. What is a fantasy self? A fantasy self is an imagined version of you who has certain attributes, has a certain style, wears certain clothes, or does certain activities your actual self does not. You can say it's like a goal of you. You want to become this version of yourself. The daring self is also an imagined version of yours. The difference is this version does the actual stuff. This version starts a new job, starts a new relationship, gets that haircut, wears the clothes you haven't dared before, hence the name. Let's look at the differences. First of all, both sound similar. Both are imagined. And imagination and visualization, because you can visualize your fantasy selves and your daring selves in advance to get the warrior within started to really tackle the goals, to really tackle the needed actions to become or to tap into your daring selves and to tap into your fantasy selves. Both are like the seeds. The difference is the daring self starts already to grow. It has sprouted, it has roots, and it starts to grow. The fantasy self is a mere possibility, and it's a mere possibility, and there is where it gets a bit tricky, because here you have the chance or the doorway for procrastination and for INFJ's favorite, perfectionism. Yes, we all can relate to this. If I have got to become, you name it, this, then I start. But guess what? It is never that way. You never get this, have this, become this in a perfect version so that you can start. However, it's unnecessarily complicated. And perfectionism complicates anything, everything. To keep it simple, the daring self does it. It simply does it. The daring self simply starts. And here's a new mantra for you. Start where you are with what you've got and just do it. Start where you are with what you've got and just do it. The result of this just starting, which is actually the answer to how do we activate, how do we tap into our daring selves, or how do we turn a fantasy self into a daring self. It's just by this one little but important step. And remember, simple but not easy. Just start. For INFJs or introverts in general, personal growth means often, very often, to widen the comfort zone. And to widen your comfort zone, stretching it like a rubber band, but not overstretching it, means take little baby steps. Start small. If you want to establish a yoga routine or a fitness routine or a meditation routine or you name it, don't go for 6 days a week, twice, morning and evening, right away. This well-known all or nothing approach. But you burn yourself out before you can reap any benefit. And then you're depleted yourself of the necessary energy to really build up that momentum and let it work for you. Instead, consider this. I do some yoga, 5 sun salutations, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just every other day. And I keep it. I do it religiously. Come hell or high water. And then momentum builds up. A habit is formed. And with this habit, you get the energy, you get the power to tackle the big targets, to take the big steps. You get the confidence in yourself, in your way of life, in your acting, and you become more daring. Daring self takes over. And then the daring self becomes your normal self. The result is growth. To sum it up, the fantasy self is just the possibility of you growing, of you becoming the version you want to become. The daring self, on the other hand, actually does become the person, the version of yourself you want to become. Just repeat your mantra. Start where you are with what you've got and do it. Start where you are with what you've got and simply get it going. If you liked this vlog, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And as always, I love to read your comments in the section. Leave your thoughts, leave your associations. And until next time, just do something new, something out of your comfort zone. Stretch that rubber band a bit. Until then, happy practice. Bye.